Amsterdam. Wow, I had an amazing time, lots to tell, so stay tuned. Right, well, first my stats. Where do I start? Okay, well, anyways, before I left, I weighed 230, and today I weigh 229. So in the 10 days, I lost 1 pound, but the thing is that's very interesting is that I did a lot of walking, and I ate way more things that I normally don't eat. So as you know, I started this whole journey back in 2017. I weighed 450 pounds. I had 1 month on Optifast, and after the 25-pound loss on Optifast, my surgery was on March 20th, 2018, and I weighed 375. Last time I weighed myself, I was 230, and today I'm 229. And so weight loss total of 221 pounds so far. And anyway, so I'm going to talk a lot about Amsterdam. I have lots of pictures and videos to share with you, so stay tuned. So as I mentioned, I ate a lot. I ate a lot on vacation, but I mean, I didn't eat a lot. I mean, I ate a lot of things that I normally don't eat. So as I celebrated my 60th birthday there in Holland. I had birthday cake twice. 2 pieces of birthday cake on the day of my birthday, and 1 piece of birthday at the birthday party on Sunday, July 21st. And so yeah, the flight went well. I was able to fit in the plane seat without a seatbelt extension. Here's the picture. So that was great. So that's a huge NSV for me, that I was able to fit in the seat without a seatbelt extension. And I had priority seating, so I had a lot more leg room, so I was more comfortable because it's a 7.5-hour flight. When I arrived in Amsterdam at Schiphol Airport, my brother-in-law was waiting there for me. He had rented a walker for me for my trip, and he was there waiting for me, and I was able to walk from Schiphol to the train, and we took the train to my hotel. And immediately when I arrived at the hotel, I contacted my best friend, who I played for years with the opera orchestra, Martin, and immediately Ubered over to his house. And Uber, by the way, in Europe, or at least in Amsterdam, is very popular, and everybody uses it. And it's not very expensive, which is great. And so I was the typical tourist. I haven't been in Amsterdam for 20 years, meeting up with old friends, going to parts of the city. But the first day I was there, we went.
It's 12 o'clock.
It's 12 o'clock. Martin and I walked to the streetcar with my walker, and then from the streetcar took us into the center of the city by Central Station. And from Central Station, we walked to the red light district to go and have a very nice bowl of soup in a Chinese restaurant. And the last time I was in Holland was 20 years ago, and it was a huge realization of how disabled I am. All right, here we are at Central Station in the St. Nicholas Kerk here in Amsterdam. Very busy with tourists. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer night. I haven't slept in 48 hours. I'm dog tired. Right, Martin?
Yes, me too.
Streetcars.
Look at the years. Not that long ago.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful night. Perfect temperature, huh?
Yeah, lekker.
Right, Martin? Lekker?
Lekker.
Lekker. We're gonna go to the Chinese restaurant and have some soup.
Yes.
Cool.
Or something
Took
else.
so much effort for me to walk. I was in a lot of pain. As you know, here in Toronto, I use my scooter everywhere, and my hip surgery is very soon now. It's on August 21st. It's only basically 3 weeks away. I'm getting a brand new hip. so then I can finally walk better and have easier time with getting around. So walking around in Amsterdam was a huge struggle, and it was debilitating for sure and very frustrating, though I really pushed myself. And as you can see, after a week in Amsterdam, I walked 35,000 steps. So I think the steps and walking burnt a lot of calories of these extra foods that I ate, like cake and herring and bread. I had typical Dutch bread with ham and cheese for breakfast, and I had a lot of delicious things. I didn't go overboard. I had a little bit of chocolate, and I rode a bike while I was in Amsterdam. Here's a picture of me on my bike. And I visited family and my aunts and uncles and cousins. And I had a big birthday party on Sunday, the 21st of July at the hotel. And I had promoted an event, invited friends on Facebook with an event page on Facebook, and ended up being about 25 people there. That was a huge highlight of my trip, to see some aunts and uncles that I haven't seen in 20 years, and to see some cousins I haven't seen in 20 years, and to hang out with my old colleagues from the operetta company. And it was a lot of fun. And at one point they sang me happy birthday. It's a Dutch happy birthday, and here's the video. Enjoy.
Zij leven hoog, zij leven hoog. Hoi! Zij leven hoog, zij leven hoog. Ja hoog, ja hoog. Zij leven hoog.
Hoera! Je bent een piep. Hoera! Hey, leuk! Kom maar binnen. Hi. The other highlight of my trip to Amsterdam was going finally to go see a concert in Het Concertgebouw, which is the concert hall in Amsterdam. Unfortunately, Het Concertgebouw Orkest, the Royal Concertgebouw Orchestra of Amsterdam, was not performing, but it was the Bamberger Symphony from Germany, and it was a fantastic program with Joshua Bell on violin playing Dvorak violin concerto, and then after the break was Smetana, the Moldau. And it was a beautiful program, but I cried when I walked into the concert hall, because I performed in that concert hall many times in the years that I lived in Amsterdam from 1982 to 2001. And performed there many times, been to many concerts, seen the Concertgebouw Orkest many times, and heard them. And the hall is very special to me, because it's, I would say, the best hall in the world. And when you sit in your seats, you can feel the music in your feet, in your chair. And I never ever experienced that in Roy Thomson Hall, as my mother names it, the upside down pineapple cake. Roy Thomson Hall is the concert hall here in Toronto, and it's horrible. It's concrete, it's round, and it's a piece of crap. Anyway, so the orchestra performed really well. It was beautiful, and I visited some other cities, and with my cousin I went to Leiden, and I went to Zoeterwoude, and I went to Rotterdam. And then the other highlight of my trip was that I went to see finally the renovated Rijksmuseum. Rijksmuseum is the museum that has the Rembrandt, a lot of Rembrandt paintings, including the very most famous painting, The Night Watch. Day 5 in Amsterdam, Museum Day. I'm going to the Rijksmuseum and the Verkoopmuseum today. Having a great time. I miss this place. It feels nice to be home again. So the Rijksmuseum was the Rijksmuseum has been under construction for 10 years, under renovation for 10 years. So it's basically the first summer that it's been open, and it was packed with tourists, packed. But that's okay. I was psychologically prepared for the amount of crowds that would be there, because as my brother-in-law used to say, well, nowadays you can fly to Barcelona for $100. I mean, it's really still quite inexpensive to fly nowadays compared to what it was 50 years ago. And so yeah, a lot of tourists. I mean, just as like there are a lot of tourists in London and Paris and Vienna, the big cities in Europe are packed with tourists, and especially in July and August with the peak of the tourist season. So we went to the Rijksmuseum, and I was there the whole time with my good friend Kathy, who is a horn player and a retired nurse. And she and I stayed in a hotel together, the Holiday Inn in Amsterdam, and we went everywhere together. It was great fun. And we also went to the Van Gogh Museum, and the Van Gogh Museum also was renovated recently and also looks great. So, but at that point, the walking was getting so excruciating that I ended up borrowing a wheelchair when I was in the Van Gogh Museum, because I couldn't walk anymore because I was in so much pain, which was, a struggle. And so we did everything at a slow pace. I'm just looking through some pictures here on my computer to make sure I didn't forget anything. I had the party, and it was just a spectacular trip. And I'm really, really glad that I was healthy enough to go. And after August 21st, when I have my hip replacement surgery, I will even be healthier for the next time I go to Amsterdam, because I will for sure go back to Amsterdam, hopefully next year. A discussion that actually I was just having with my best friend, and we were talking about NSVs and goal motivation. And the conversation that we were having, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that I was in Amsterdam during the heat wave. So every day was 35, 36, 37 degrees. And the thing about Amsterdam is that there's barely any air conditioning anywhere. The hotel I was in, luckily, was air conditioned, so we could sleep at night. But when you go out into the streets and you go to stores, you go shopping, you do anything, barely any air conditioning. So it's quite uncomfortable when it's very, very hot. And 37, 38 degrees in Amsterdam is basically unheard of. Like here you can see my watch, and you can see that it was 35 degrees when I was in Rotterdam. The other thing I also forgot to mention in Rotterdam is that I took a boat tour of the harbor in Rotterdam, and I'd never, it's so funny, I was doing this with my cousin, and I said, in all these years that I lived in Holland for 20 years, I never ever did a tour of a place like Rotterdam. I performed many times in Rotterdam, but our tour bus just basically took us to the theater. We went inside, do our performance, and then we left, and we went back to Amsterdam. But never really took a tour. So I took a tour of the harbor in Rotterdam, which is the largest shipping harbor in the world.
Der Tunnel wurde zwischen 1937 und 1941 gebaut. Avant de rentrer dans le Machathon, nous passons sur votre droite devant un bâtiment avec une coupole verte. C'est l'un des bâtiments de ventilation du tunnel de la Meuse. Il s'agissait de l'un des premiers tunnels routiers aux Pays-Bas. Et il a maintenant le statut de monument national. Les deux bâtiments de ventilation ont une hauteur de 60 mètres, 34 mètres au-dessus du sol et 26 mètres enterrés. La zone d'aspiration de l'air frais se trouve dans la coupole en cuivre. Le tunnel a été aménagé entre 1937 et 1941.
Oh, leuk.
Het 228 meter lange stoomschip Rotterdam is het vijfde schip dat onder deze naam in de vaart werd gebracht door de Holland-Amerika-lijn. En is het grootste passagiersschip dat ooit in Nederland...
And that was a lot of fun. And I also went in the Rotterdam Eye. And the Rotterdam Eye, like the London Eye, but it's much smaller than the London Eye. That was fun to see Rotterdam from the 20th floor, whatever. But what I was going to mention Let's take a sip of coffee here. What I was going to mention was that I was having this conversation with my best friend here in Toronto about goals and motivation. And now I have been looking forward towards this trip now for 2 years as an NSV, non-scale victory. And now it's over. So now, what's my big next goal? And she was saying that she didn't understand the motivation is linked to an external reward. So this is something maybe we can discuss here in the comment section in this video. Do you feel that you should, are you motivated, let's put it this way, are you motivated by external rewards in order to stay on track with weight loss? Because it is quite the situation. Like, for example, for me, I would need to start really saving money if I want to go on another trip to Holland, because it's very expensive to travel. So should an external reward be a physical thing, or should it be motivational? Like last week I walked for 10 minutes on a treadmill, and this week I'm walking for 15 minutes on a treadmill. So kind of goals that you set up at the gym, for example. Or can it be, you know, so the thing is that you know about the bariatric honeymoon. So the bariatric honeymoon is over for me, right? After a year, it's over. So then it's just pure motivation and discipline to stick to eating small portions and watching your calories and watching your protein and watching your carbs. And here's an example. I had breakfast this morning. Here's a before and after picture. So I still make sure that I don't overeat. And, you know, so that's something that we, you know, like to discuss. I like to discuss with all of you in the comment section. What is your inspiration to stay on track a year post-surgery? Do you use external rewards to keep you going? And what sort of example of rewards do you do? So that would be great to hear from you guys. So anyways, I think that's about it. I'm a little sad. My dog is sick at the moment. She has some major back issues, and she's on painkillers right now and sleeping soundly here beside me, but she's not the same dog, so I have to go to a specialist and find out what the heck is going on with her back. I'm a little afraid that she may need surgery for her back or something drastic. So, oh yes, the joys of pet ownership. Luckily, I have pet insurance. So, that's about it for this week. I hope you enjoy my little recap of my trip to Amsterdam. I highly recommend for anybody who's never been there to go there and to see a concert in the Concertgebouw, to go to the Rijksmuseum, to go to the Van Gogh Museum, and just do a canal boat tour. It is a beautiful, beautiful city. And I actually didn't appreciate how beautiful it was when I was living there, because you're living there, so you just don't think about that. But, you know, coming back to Toronto, to this concrete jungle, it's not pretty, this city, and Amsterdam is pretty. So that's something to think about as well. So thanks for watching this week, and don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.